Hi everyone and welcome back to the Velvet Lounge. I wanted to continue with this video. I had a little technical difficulties, so this will be a two-part video continuing with what we have sold, just a small example in Q4 of 2017, of course. And some information on how you can source, how you can buy in bulk, etc. And as well as, how you can keep your eye out for something other than t-shirts and jeans, and make, a healthy profit on things that are super easy to ship. This is an example of that. This was part of that lot I told you guys about in an earlier video, where we went to a flea market or an estate sale, and for $30 we purchased this, which was one of the antique postcard photo albums, as well as another photo album that had actual old, I think they're called gel prints, that were all done in France, and they're all perfectly marked with their provenance. So we're excited about selling those. And we also got another postcard album that was just a little bit smaller. We purchased the Marguerite d'Angely books there. There were like 8 of them, as well as we received some other little extra ephemera pieces. So for $30 we purchased all of that. And this album sold for $99.99, $12.95 for shipping and handling. And it was full of postcards from the 1900s to about 1915. There were maybe 10 to 12 cards that were predated that. They were like 1898, 1899, but there weren't enough of them, in my own opinion, to put it out as something that super stood out, but I did put it in my listing description. So, we were happy to sell this collection. We still have a few loose postcards that also came with that lot that we purchased. So, look out for things like that. You might look at a book and think, oh, it just looks like an old book, but you open it up and you find that there's like a whole bunch of postcards in there. Something else to be on the lookout for are items that are vintage Muppet, especially if it entails Sam the Eagle, because Sam the Eagle was not issued as often as Miss Piggy, who sells for very, very, very little, or Kermit the Frog, which sometimes will not sell at all because he was the most popular character. Like if you find Fozzie Bear, that's an awesome one. The 2 old dudes, we had one of their ornaments, which was a Muppet ornament, and we sold that as well. This one ornament sold for $29.99 plus $7.95 for shipping and handling. Not a bad investment for an ornament that I maybe paid a dime for, because when I purchased that ornament, Sam the Eagle, I also purchased maybe 20 other ornaments. Some were made in Germany, Bolivia, like really, countries that used to do a supreme job at creating Christmas ornaments, as well as, like I said, there were a few Muppets in there. And that came from a tag sale. This is part of the haul I just told you about with the postcards. Part of that was this Imperial stamp album. Inside of the album, there are literally hundreds of postage stamps. And I clicked on a picture. I don't know if these will come up. There were even a few Confederate stamps in there, which obviously people who know anything about the Civil War, Confederate items are harder to find because unlike the North, they did not put the effort into really ramping up or creating quality items, so their items did not stand the test of time, or there just were not that many. So I think that helped sell this album, honestly, more than any of the other stamps in it. My page is unresponsive. I don't know why. But anyway, this sold for $77 even, with $8.95 for shipping and handling. And there were a few bids on it. I think I started the auction maybe at $59.99, something like that. Something else that you want to be, I love selling tools. I love selling antique tools. There's so many of the modern tools out there that I don't waste my time with those, but antique hand tools are my favorite because I can put them into first class or I can ship them in priority. It depends on what it is and how big, how long, etc. But in this case, this blade was a 12, just the blade, not the handle. The blade was 12 inches long, and it was about, I would say, 2.5 to 3 inches wide. This thing had to weigh, I think it weighed like 3 pounds. It was like thick, it was heavy, it was long. The handle is like double enforced, and these are like metal rivets that they drove through it. You could totally tell it was handmade. It was, made so that someone can hang it up in the barn after they finished using it. Of course, where did I find this? One of my favorite barn sales. As I always tell people, you need to shop those barns. When a farm is having a sale, you might have to dig, but, go prepared with gloves and, a mask if necessary. And I don't go thrifting, or I'm not even a thrifter, honestly. It is rare if I ever go to a thrift shop because there's so much competition there and everyone's like on top of each other. I actually filmed a film, which you could look at. It's early on. It's at Goodwill, where I went to a thrift shop and I was totally IDing like everyone that was like a reseller in a nice way. And we would talk to each other and we'd be like, yeah, didn't find anything, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, many times people do find things, but I like going to like barn sales, estate sales, and not the fancy estate sales. You want to go to the estate sale where, the people really want to get rid of their stuff. And you can find items just like this. So this knife was part of a box lot that I believe maybe I paid $10 for, maybe 15, 20 pieces. And it sold for $44.99 with $14.95 for shipping and handling. And yeah, it was just this weird relic. I saw it. It was different. And so I decided to pick it up and it worked. My next item, and my laptop is slow because I have like a ridiculous number of windows open, and it has been open